I am so excited. Everyone knows that the Fallout remakes are happening. It's no longer a question of if, it's a question of when. And that is most likely very soon. Now, the real question here is obviously how much Bethesda will censor and how many things Bethesda will change because it no longer fits the modern culture that we live in. You know, garbage that will make people not buy the remake because Bethesda cannot be trusted. In any case, that's a different discussion for a different day. But amongst these people, there are a few, a lot in fact, that think that Fallout New Vegas is gonna be remaked. It's the perfect candidate. It's literally Bethesda's best game. Those who know. In any case, yes, there's a lot of people who think it's gonna be Fallout New Vegas. It has to be. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it, right? Well, what I and many people like me who are elitist Bethesda Fallout New Vegas supremacists call those people tourists. Because that way of thinking is just never gonna work, okay? It's never happening. Listen. Do you honestly think, from a purely logical perspective, that Bethesda, the company that said that Fallout New Vegas is a failure, disaster, it was so bad, in fact, that they made a PowerPoint presentation and made the whole developer team behind that game watch it as they tell them how bad of a game they made? Do you really think that Bethesda, after doing that, is gonna admit that people want Fallout New Vegas? Todd has spent the past decade and a half trying to destroy any trace of Fallout New Vegas. If time machines get invented, you know who's doing everything to travel back in time and, do the right thing, aka destroy Fallout New Vegas. It's Todd Howard, that's right. There is no chance in hell New Vegas gets remake. Unless Microsoft literally decides to hire Minecrafters to deal with Poddy Boy, it's never happening. That's a joke, YouTube. I like my money. Anyway, you get the point. There is a bigger chance that Fallout 4 gets a remake than Fallout New Vegas ever even gets an update at this point. Don't be silly.
Bethesda presents. It used to mean something. People paid attention. An easy one to point to would be the Fallout 4 countdown. It went viral pretty much instantly, and it was the biggest news in gaming for a while. They finally announced Fallout 4. Now, of course, Fallout
Yeah, Bethesda used to mean something.
76 changed all of that. Now when you see something along the lines of Bethesda Presents, you get a brief moment of excitement, and then you start to prepare for the disappointment, because you know you're about to be reminded again.
True fans were born in disappointment. They were molded by it. You simply adopted the disappointment.
That Fallout 76 exists.
Oh,
Here you go.
I really wish they were doing something else. Not gonna lie. Fallout. Oh,
Great. Yeah, it is Fallout.
These are some classic clips, okay? Listen, these are people that pretty much almost get out on Bethesda's payroll, and even they can't hide their disappointment.
There you go.
No.
Okay, all right. Bethesda presents. Okay. Yep. God damn it.
We have seen it, but this is a classic, and I am very interested still in her opinion. I think it could be good, okay?
No, this is gonna be Fallout, isn't it? Is it gonna be? Oh, it's 76.
Fallout 76 update.
Yeah.
Some remix? Ah, 76.
Bethesda presents. Let's go, Blade. Oh, decent length game, but like that was very.
So let's talk about Bethesda's reputation over time. I made a neat little chart here. On the left we have reputation from 0 to 10, and on the bottom we have time from
Man, we like charts on this channel, don't we?
2006 to the present. So 20 years. Now, in 2006 is when Oblivion first came out, and not only did it do really well, Morrowind before it also did really well. But
Boo, Oblivion, yeah, Morrowind.
Bethesda has talked about it themselves, but they pretty much admit that Morrowind saved the company. And I think by the time
And you know what's the current opinion, by the way? Because I actually have never covered this. This is kind of old news, but or maybe I did cover it. But the developers, current developers, big shots at Bethesda, came out and said that no one would want Morrowind in the current day because the systems are too hard. Armor doesn't have one stat; it has more stuff than it. They're layering like a lot of these previously good companies that got their fame through making actually extremely complex games like Diablo 2, Morrowind, and so on. And yes, Diablo 2 is a pretty complex game because if you really want to push it up there, you need to know frame rate breakpoints, block points and things like that. There's a whole shabazzle about that. Okay, it's not actually that easy sometimes. But yeah, these companies used to make complicated games, real complicated games, games that we as kids somehow magically finished, and we actually did not use half of the shit at our disposal because we never figured it out. And now the same people who made these games in even some situations are literally going out and saying, oh, the fans of these franchises would never be able to play something as hard as that. They're just simply too stupid. You just need more reason to hate Bethesda, right?
Oblivion launched, they had a pretty well-respected reputation overall. So I'll put them at a 7 in 2006, and it certainly went up by 2008 when they released Fallout 3. So we'll maybe put them at an 8 here. Now, since we're talking about Bethesda Game Studios,
Morrowind, anything below a 10 is heresy.
from 2008 to 2010,
Oblivion can go down to -1 if I don't care.
they didn't really do too much, so we'll just keep it flat. But from 2010 to 2012 is when they released Skyrim. And this has to be the high point of their reputation. I mean, if not a 10, they were definitely a 9 in a lot of people's eyes. I mean, just their string of success from 2006 to 2012 is pretty crazy. You have Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Skyrim. Now, from 2012 to 2014, again, they didn't really do much. So
Todd Biscuit still, to this day, has the best way of describing Skyrim. And it sounds kind of harsh, but it's not actually that harsh. It's Skyrim is an ocean with the depth of the puddle, but the trick is, I'll elaborate more on that point. The puddle part doesn't matter. It's a very beautiful ocean. Yeah, some part of it's very shallow, but it doesn't get old. So even the parts that are shallow don't matter. It's like they're good, they're fine. I'm not a Skyrim fan, I have said this many times, but I still have something like 30, 40, 50 hours in that game. All very, very legal and paid for Bethesda, by the way. Obviously. But yeah, that's just the reality of the of Skyrim. It somehow just is that good. You don't need to like the story. You don't need to like the exploration. You don't need to like the combat. But it all meshes together, and it's just a good experience that the super majority of people agree with. Skyrim is the unironic, like, 8 to 9 out of 10 for almost everyone, even if you're being super critical. Because there's very few people that, like, play 2 minutes of Skyrim and then they're like, nah, I don't like it. Very, very few.
we'll just keep the line flat. From 2014 to 2016, however, is when, I'd say two big things happened here. There was the paid mods controversy with Steam, and there was the release of Fallout 4. And while Fallout 4 is a huge commercial success, it is when a lot of people, including myself, started to see a lot of the cracks in Bethesda. It's not that we didn't know about them before, it's just that they were opening wider and not closing. Nobody was fixing them. So in my eyes, and I think a lot of other people, in this era is when they went down a bit. There was some hope. It wasn't all.
I liked Fallout 4. I was fine with it. It had some moments of decent role play. A lot of it was missing, obviously, but it did have some moments. You probably remember my favorite Fallout story is my first playthrough when I was with the Institute, and I had max rep with the Minutemen. And it's the farm mission where you need to track down the scientist, and there's the Minutemen there, but you're from the Institute. You can just tell the Minutemen, "Hey, buddy, I'm your boss. Get the fuck out, okay?" And he's like, "Well, I guess, Chief." And then the Institute just waddles in. And while that moment is great, I think that moment is also why a lot of people hate Fallout 4, and I think the hate is honestly justified. Because if it was Fallout New Vegas quality, and yes, the whole of Bethesda is always compared on this channel to Fallout New Vegas, if you did not know, you could be able to assimilate the Minutemen as like a part of the Institute. If Fallout 4 was a well-written, good, fun game, you would have these situations where the Minutemen would be like undercover agents for the Institute if you wanted. There would be a quest where the Minutemen maybe try to become a part of the Brotherhood of Steel or something like that, or it depends on how you handle it, they don't. But now the Minutemen is just a shit tier fucking faction. Still better than the Railroad. Everything's better than the Railroad. But, so much lost opportunity. So much lost opportunity.
A loss, so maybe we'll just put them back at 7. And then by 2018 is when it became pretty obvious. This was, of course, the release of 76.
This is fucking ridiculous. What is the options button? Kujay, who the fuck is talking right now? Shut the fuck up! Tell your mom to shut up! I'm trying to fucking play Fallout!
If I had to estimate, I'd say this brought them down to about a 4. I mean, not only was there
76 is an easily 2 or 1 out of 10, and nowadays it's a 0 out of 10.
76, there was all the shenanigans after that too. And from 2018 to 2020, things didn't really improve at all. I mean, NPCs got added to 76, but nobody really cared at that point. And I
arguably it made the game worse.
believe around here is when we first started hearing the rumors that they were going to get bought by Microsoft, which definitely didn't help anything. They probably dropped down to around a 2 or a 3. 2020 to 2022 was pretty quiet for Bethesda, probably just keep it flat. And then from 22 to 24 is of course when Starfield came out. I think it just hurt them even more.
Skyrim is a solid 3 out of 10.
By this point, for me at least, they were probably at about a 1. Really no hope of recovery. And well, things have only really gone down since then. And just to remind you of a few things they've done over the years, I mean, you've got horse armor, paid Steam mods, Creation Club slop, they ran out of canvas for a duffel bag, they doxed their biggest fans.
The great canvas shortage.
They sold rum in a plastic bottle and called it premium.
That was so fucked up. That was a part of the canvas shortage, by the way. That was so fucking funny because the bottle was so poorly designed, you couldn't even pour it without spilling. It was great. Peak Bethesda.
Released a completely unfinished game, added a subscription service to that game with light pay-to-win features. They created, promoted, and killed their own launcher on PC. They didn't plan anything for
that was the point where everyone wanted to make their own launchers because they thought, wait a minute, Steam makes a lot of money. Why? Because they're a good service that people want to use? No! Because they sell shit on their own launcher. Unironic, probably the way that a lot of these companies think. Like, they are incapable. A lot of these companies are literally incapable of understanding why people like Steam. It is kind of hilarious and very telling. One of my favorite things is the fact that the Battle.net launcher used to be good, but it hasn't been good forever, and now people will choose to play Blizzard games on Steam instead of Battle.net because that you open the Battle.net launcher, what do you get? You start download for 15 things that you don't want. You get 5 ads for some kind of bullshit. You can't navigate the site. You want the newest patch details? Well, fuck you. You want the newest news on something? It says news. You click on it. I don't even know what I got. It is bad on every level.
the show being a success. They broke their decade-old game during a surge, didn't fix it for 18 months, and the most
Nice.
recent one for me is the physical code in box edition. Here's a tweet that Bethesda Game Studios made. The Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition arrive on Nintendo Switch 2 in a physical code in box edition, available now.
Nice.
Isn't that the funniest fucking thing you've ever read? So in other words, instead of downloading it from the Switch store, you can go to the store and buy this plastic box with a code in it that you will then download on the Switch store. And they're proud of this. Alright, just in case Bethesda is watching, let's go over the point of physical media. It is to preserve media beyond platforms. Because digital media, at the end of the day, has gatekeepers. Now, it's not a perfect solution. You'll always need additional equipment to play these games, whether it be a Switch or a Nintendo 64, whatever it is. But it is important to a lot of people, and that's even shown a lot more now with the Stop Killing Games movement, and just how well that's been doing. Now, let's see what the physical code in box edition accomplishes. While collectors don't get the physical media, a casual buyer has confusion on what even they're buying. It has absolutely no secondhand value because it's just a plastic box, and it's packaging for no reason because you're just getting a digital good. And I feel like I have to stress this. People don't just want to put a box on their shelf. They want to preserve the media.
I mean, I actually want the box on the shelf more, honestly, than media. Not gonna lie.
Inside. Like, I'm sure there are some people that just want to put a
Like, imagine a fucking shelf right there, and it has literally Fallout and Diablo 2. Giant shelf, and it has Fallout New Vegas and Diablo 2 there. And that's fucking it. That's literally it. Okay, that's it. That's the only two games I care about. Fallout, New Vegas, and Diablo 2. Not even the base Diablo 2 game, by the way. Just Lord of Destruction. Oh, what a fucking life, boys. That's what we're talking about. Okay? I care more about the stupid box than game preservation.
box on their shelf. We don't need to cater to those fucking people. Like, who really is this for? Are you here with us right now? Please let yourself be known. It's just more evidence that Bethesda in 2026 is a corporate, stagnated, greedy shell of their former selves. Here's the top reply to that tweet, which actually ratioed Bethesda. It says, "Do publishers really not understand why people ask for a physical release? We are not in the business of cleaning dust off of clutter on our shelves. We want the product properly preserved on a card or disc without being at your mercy of maintaining servers." And while this isn't a perfect reply, because if a game truly requires servers, then you having a disc isn't going to change anything, the point still stands. Another reply I liked is this guy laughing at how out of touch saying physical code in a box edition is. TK actually chimed in on this and said, "You guys make yourselves into a joke like once every 2 months these days."
Bro, this guy is literally gonna get on its knees in front of Todd Howard anytime he just even thinks about him. Like, don't try to fucking pretend.
At some point, you
This is one of the people who said, "Oh yes, the Fallout TV show was great. It improved on the lore. It made it good. Everyone loves it. It's the best thing ever." No, there's no contradictions. Good job, Shill.
think it would cause a change in your practices, but you laughably double down each time. I even put in a reply. You can follow me at DrawnOutYT. But while we're here, let's just do a 76 Adam Shop check-in. I like popping in and seeing what kind of shenanigans they're up to. And look at
Oh boy, probably. We're gonna skip this because the Fallout 76 shop is literally a bunch of. It's just reselling of things that you probably already own, and it's overpriced. Probably the only item that at least looks funny, and again, it's New Vegas themed.
stuff also looks good. But does that mean you get $30 fucking dollars? Like, what kind of price tag is that? And on top of it, it's capitalizing off a game that they didn't make and seemingly hate. Speaking of that, why do people think Todd hates New Vegas? Isn't that an interesting one? I mean, you have the Metacritic bonus deal. Of course, they needed an 85, they scored an 84, and so they got no bonus. A lot of people have been very upset about this for a long time because they feel the developers really deserved the bonus. A lot of that comes down to the fact that New Vegas was made in 18 months off tools they never used before. it ended up outshining Fallout 3 and made Bethesda millions in the end, possibly even tens or maybe even hundreds of millions. When we look at just how successful New Vegas makes the actual Fallout brand these days, I mean, without it, I think Fallout would be just much, much less popular than it is. There's the fact that New Vegas became the fan favorite, and we gotta kind of break this one down. So Fallout 3 launches, and it's a huge success. Now, those real Fallout fans, they notice a change in freedom. I'll freely admit I was not one of these people. I didn't play Fallout 1 and 2 before 3 came out, so I was just in love with 3. But these real Fallout fans, they
I did. Not the hugest of fan. The 3D, the move to 3D was a good thing in my eyes. I liked it more.
started calling this the Bethesdification of Fallout. But people like me, just the Bethesda fans who liked Oblivion before this, oh, we were eating good. Then New Vegas launches, and it's a buggy mess. But underneath was something beautiful. Those real Fallout fans and Bethesda fans together collectively notice it. Freedom had returned to Fallout. So then Fallout 4 launches. Criticism? Turns out it was not received. The freedom? Less than 3. The collective new Fallout fanbase who just loved New Vegas fractioned and lost hope, for freedom was lost once again. And the entire time, Emil was laughing from the sidelines. There's also the PowerPoint. This is more of a recent kind of meme, but Chris Avila mentioned being shown a PowerPoint by Bethesda of everything they did wrong in New Vegas. Imagine being lectured by this fucking guy. It must be pretty redeeming knowing that New Vegas won in the end, though. There's the lack of promotion that Bethesda did until season 2 of the show. I mean, they damn near never talked about New Vegas until it was financially strategic for them. These are some clips from a segment on Kiwi Talks. He was interviewed.
Again, that's probably not even because of Todd. It's probably because Microsoft is forcing him to do things. Because again, something has to change in Bethesda. Todd has been strangely absent from pretty much everything. He's usually the spokesperson. He is the Bethesda brand. But somehow he's just not there any longer.
3 ex-Bethesda developers.
How did you guys actually feel about Fallout New Vegas when it released?
I post a lot of Fallout content on my Instagram or on YouTube or what have you, and a lot of, you always get those guys jumping out of the woodwork to be like, New Vegas is the best, Bethesda sucks, and I'm kind of like, okay, sure, that's fine. I think I initially felt a little bit like touchy about it because I was like, well, we made 90% of the art, we built the engine, we did all that stuff, we did it.
Oh, yeah, but he said this originally. I think I made a video about this, yeah. Fallout dev claims New Vegas is actually dead. We actually made everything that you use. Little loser.
In a very limited window of time, and we put in all this effort.
Alright, so Bethesda licensed the rights to make Fallout 3 in July 2004. That means they had 4 years to write a story since it came out in 2008. Meanwhile, Obsidian had 18 months to make the entire game. And in my opinion, they probably made more than 10% of the assets for the game.
And they got to just work on the stories, right? All that. And so I felt like it's a little unfair that we're being judged on not having the storylines, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, this is crazy. Also, what? This is so stupid. This is a stupid point in general because it's untrue. Even Bethesda back then, while it had less employees and it was less bureaucracy, not more, they still had people who were literally artists, coders, story writers, designers, and blah, 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 blah. They had specific roles. So it's not like the storytellers needed to work and enslave themselves and do a second job for free to help the coders. It wasn't that situation.
I don't think it's all that unfair. Again, they made the game in 18 months. Bethesda had 4 years to come up with Chase Dad Across the Wasteland. New Vegas had factions, freedom, interesting characters. Definitely more interesting characters than 3. I mean, 3 had some, but... Also, one of my favorite things about New Vegas is the fact that you can kill every single NPC in the game, or kill not a single NPC in the game, and you can complete the game in both ways.
But with that said, actually, and as time has gone on, I'm like, honestly, Obsidian killed it. I think they did a beautiful job, and I would love, and it did make me feel a little bit sad that our design team could not envision the kind of, or at least maybe they just didn't have time or bandwidth. Like they just didn't implement the same scale of really ambitious, huge arc, multi-choices kind of thing.
Well, they have definitely had the time to improve since then. Instead, Fallout 4 was more restrictive than 3. 76 was one of the worst launches in gaming history, and Starfield showed just how boring.
Yep, 76. People, again, there's literally like hour-long compilations you can find about the launch of 76, how bad it was. You could not play the game for 2 minutes without encountering a major bug that broke the game or did something to ruin your experience. It wasn't good. It was really, really, really worse than most people even talk about it. I was there.
And uninspired a world can truly be. If only they had a little bit more time, guys. Bethesda just needs some more time is all.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool to see more of that versus just like the completely separate faction thing, which didn't really have the same sort of ramifications, in Fallout 4. And I do think Vegas is a really good game, but it also does some things worse. Like, I think its dungeons and world design are not as good. So it's like from a writing and design perspective, I think they did better. But I do not feel the same way about like their dungeons and stuff.
So Fallout 4 definitely has the weakest faction system I've ever engaged with. But I will say Fallout 3 definitely did dungeons well, and maybe even better than New Vegas. Meanwhile, Fallout 4's dungeons sucked ass.
Yeah, we had a great level design team with us. They also, and we should also say, they had a limited window of time to work. They were
for
really,
sure.
they were very pressed for time, an unfair amount of time, honestly. No, but I honestly, I applaud them. I think they did a great job of shepherding the Fallout spirit, yeah. And in some ways better than we did.
And yeah, some of Fallout's original creators worked on New Vegas. So it's not surprising that they did so well with it. I do like that Jonah and Nate can admit that New Vegas definitely did it better in some ways.
I mean, at that point, you're kind of forced to do that, otherwise you ruin everything. But that's a different story.
And just in case I have to say it, don't send any hate to these guys. They have their own opinions, and they definitely agree that New Vegas is a great game. But anyway, let's do a Bethesda slop check-in too while we're here. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Bethesda shop check-in. So here's something I noticed as soon as I went to the website. We get 4 categories to pick from for Fallout items. We have one of the game-specific...
Oh, Jesus. Do they actually have... the minis. Yeah, overpriced garbage, effectively. Wait, what? Is that Sheriff's badge? What is that? Yep! It's technically a Sheriff's badge. Okay, got it. Anyway, that was drawn out. 10 out of 10. Bye!